hello and welcome to a very windy Reading Air Target Shooting Club. Now the reason I'm down here with this Infiray Tube TP25 SE thermal scope, and I have it obviously mounted on an air rifle, this is an AGT Vixen, is that this scope is marketed for as being ideal for airgun use. Short to sort of medium range airgun use, ideal for rats and rabbits. Now you probably could take this out a little bit further from sort of short, medium range fox shooting as well, albeit obviously you wouldn't do that on an air rifle. But it's priced at just a penny under £1,100, which makes it, in the grand scheme of thermal scopes, quite affordable. And obviously there's going to be a bit of a compromise on the quality compared to much more expensive scopes, thermal scopes, but for airgun use, you know, it's actually pretty good. I must admit, I've been a little bit skeptical before about the role of thermal scopes for air gunners, but this one, having used it a fair bit, is changing my mind, because, as I say, if you accept the limitation of the range that you're going to use it over, it's absolutely fine for picking out rats and rabbit sized targets at sort of, you know, 20, 30, 40 meters. Now part of that is down to the 256 by 1912 micron thermal sensor, which gives you a nice crisp image, and there are several different palette options as well, color palette options, and I found it is worth scrolling through those, because depending on the conditions you're shooting in, some palettes give you a clearer picture than others. The has a 25mm objective lens. You can mount this using regular scope mounts, and there's a magnification ring at the back here in the usual sort of position where you would expect a magnification ring to be on a scope, and it turns like sort of little kind of subtle clicks as well, which is quite nice. Now it has an inbuilt 18650 battery, which is quoted as giving you 8 hours of runtime. Now I must admit, I've not used it for 8 hours in one go, but I've taken out some fairly lengthy night shoots, and battery charge has not been an issue at all. And I like the fact that it's relatively compact and only weighs 750 grams, which is nice as well. And for air gunners in particular, this module is compatible with the Infiray LRF range-finding module, which is a really advantageous thing to have. You know, if you're shooting with an air gun, you know, air guns will know that given the loopy trajectory, it's really important to know how far your target is, especially in the dark. Now, I'm going to shoot some targets here on the range, just to give you an idea of some of the key features on the scope. And unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to get out and shoot with it on live quarry, because the deadline for this video, but I will try and get out somewhere and just record some footage of some rabbits in the field, just to give you an idea of the image quality. Now, it's a little bit daft, I know, but here I am reviewing a thermal scope on a range that doesn't have anything hot on it. And as I said before, I will try and get out tonight and at least film some footage of rabbits in the field to give you an idea of the thermal image clarity. But this will give you an idea of the general sort of clarity through the scope, and it also enabled me to just give you a little bit of a detail on the various different menu settings. Now the scope is switched on with this power button here. It does take a few seconds for it to warm up and get going and enable you to start shooting, but a short press on that will take you into a standby mode, and then another short press will bring it up instantly, so you can start shooting, which is very good. The menus are accessed via this, let's call it the elevation turret, and then the windage turret on the other side here is your charge port, and also the port for you to download video footage. So I'm going to switch on the camera mode. Right, that's camera mode's on already. So, at the risk of making an obvious statement, these targets are not hot, so you're not really getting a true sense of the thermal detection capabilities of the scope, but it will give you an idea as to the quality of the clarity on this scope. And if I also just take you through the different colour palettes, I think that must be black hot, fusion thing I think, that might be fusion. Hopefully that gives you an idea of the different palettes. As I say, it's worth scrolling through when you're shooting, because different conditions will give you a different sort of visual performance on the scope. The magnification is one of the real positives on this, because as I say, it's sort of what you would be used to on a regular scope. You also get lots of different reticle choices. The menu is really easy to work through as well. Let me show you the menus up. Like a basic menu which gives you your recording facility, also gives you reticle options, colour options, brightness and what have you. And then with a long press on this top turret you get a much more detailed menu, which gives you lots of options here. There's a Wi-Fi function as well, there's a calibration option there. If you're going to shoot this with a centerfire rimfire, there is a recoil activated video and a Bluetooth connection for that laser rangefinder option as well. You get several different, well, you've got 3 different profiling options. Just take that down again. And I've zeroed this at 30 meters. There's a standby function which I've switched off. I'm not entirely sure what laser calibration is. Compass if you get lost. And then you have, your sort of standard kind of setup for language, time, that kind of stuff. All very, very intuitive to use, to be honest. And even in the dark, when I've been on, it's very, very easy to locate the function that you want. Now, video is stored onto an internal memory on this. And then you obviously, when you're ready to look at what you've been shooting at, you just download it. Taking it a little bit further. So those targets at the bottom there, that board at the bottom is 55 meters away. And as you can see, the clarity is very good. And the one thing I would say is that I've noticed, when you do have a rabbit pop out, clarity of the actual thermal image is very, very good. There's no I've used some thermals where if you're rat shooting or something, you're really not sure which end of the rat you're aiming at. You don't get that issue with this because the definition on a live thing is very, very good. Now I'm taking it up to, that's the 10 times magnification, and yes, it gets a little bit fuzzy at that sort of distance, but it's still usable. And as I say, this has really kind of changed my mind as to what is possible to do with a thermal scope on an arrow. Now I'm just trying to put on the picture-in-picture mode. There you go, there's a picture-in-picture mode, which works really quite nicely. And I've run out of pellets now, but you can see you've got like a tiny little cross in the picture-in-picture mode, so you can just really refine your aim point very easily. Now, I promised you earlier on that I would try and get some thermal image footage of some live quarry, and unfortunately this is not one of my permissions. I would dearly like it to be one of my permissions, but it's just not. But it's a farm that has a road running alongside it, and there's always rabbits there, and it's just a convenient place for me to record some footage. Now, these rabbits are about 50 meters away, 45-50 meters away, and this is on the lowest magnification, 4 times, with the picture-in-picture enabled. And you can see the image is actually nice and clear. Now, as I zoom up, you see 5 times is still usable, 6 times is usable, 7 times is usable as well. You know, sort of 9, 10, it starts to get a little bit fuzzy, but it's still very usable, to be perfectly honest, on that higher magnification. And then as you go down in the magnification range again, that picture-in-picture feature with the aiming across the reticle within the picture-in-picture window is a really useful feature as well. Now, just to show you some different palettes, I think this is the Black Hot palette, which is really good actually. That's the Red Hot, that's the Fusion, I believe it is, and that's White Hot. But I think the Black Hot on this particular night was just about the best colour palette to use. And you can see there really clearly that rabbit there is about probably just under about 35-40 meters away, and you know that's air gunning range. Anyway, I hope you found that really useful, and yeah, check out the Scott Country website for more information.
Well, that's it for this week. I hope you've enjoyed the episode, and if you like any of these products that has been shown, please head over to the website to www.scottcountry.co.uk, and next Friday we'll be coming to you live from the National Shooting Show, where we'll have all the latest products on our stand. Come down, see the team, talk to us about your needs, and we can put you in the right direction for all your thermal products. So I hope to see you there. Cheers.